I am not protesting. If I got anything here, it is not money put in my pocket. They are constituency projects given to my constituency. And I'm not apologetic about it. Mr. President, please let us go into the prayers and do the right thing.
From Obi Ezekwesili to Aisha Yusuf to countless number of Nigerian women that have actually stood in support of Senator Natasha, and even some men as well, because it's not only women, you understand. We have some men out there that actually support Senator Natasha putting Duangan in all of these things happening for some months now. You know, I will tell you for free that this year, 2025, has not been a funny year for Senator Natasha and even the Senate President, because you could see all of what is happening. You know, the sexual harassment is there, all of the allegations is there, and even Senator Natasha herself, the suspension, the recall, denial to the entrance of the National Assembly, a whole sitting senator for that matter. But guys, welcome you today to this YouTube channel. Whatever part you're watching us from, do what to drop it at the comment section. Let me receive it at the comment section, and also do give a thumbs up to this video so that it can be recommended to all Natashans out there. I know a number of you, you know, if I were to ask you, why do you support Senator Natasha? A number of you support her because she's courageous. You felt this is the kind of person we need in leaders, you know, in our fields of leadership, like that. So you felt we need somebody that can challenge authorities or power that be. And you felt this woman need my support. So that is why a number of you up till now, you support her because she's courageous. A number of you support her because she's a woman. So you felt a woman shouldn't be treated this way. I would rather support woman rather than supporting a man. You understand? And do you know the funniest thing, very, very shocking, is that a number of you is supporting Senator Natasha today because of the kind of people involved in this whole issue. Yes, definitely a number of you do not like the Senate President, or probably you have some kind of vendetta of your own personal opinion or reserved opinion against the set of people she's having issues with. But guys, I've made you understand that we all know this issue on ground didn't start at this point in time. With all of what we have on ground, with all of the points we have on ground, yes, we know for some time now, several people has been coming out and making us understand several point of view as to the fact of what should be done towards, you know, solving this whole issue. You know, at some point, some call for a negotiation, some call for an indoor settlement and all of that. But we are waiting for the both parties to make us understand what is going on exactly. So there was a particular video that has been trending for some time now about one of the earlier Senator Akpabio, and I would want you to watch the video, because from what we've gathered, something like that never happened. But we all know social media in Nigeria, a number of things can be so, you know, so engaged in such a way that you don't even know which one to believe. So that's why I'm using this platform to tell you nothing of such. The Senate has made us understand that nothing of such has happened, and that's personal Senator Bamidele from Ekiti State. But the Senate has clarified what is going on, that there is no issue happening. That's why I tell you, social media at times, you just need to keep verifying and do your own due diligence before you know what exactly to believe. You understand? And there's some things at times you find out to be fake that may be real, and there's some things that you think is real at times that may be fake. But let me play you the video of the man, because this kind of person, I don't think he can actually betray the Senate President. With all of what he said in this video, I want you to watch the video and do well to drop your comments at the comment section of the video. So guys, let me throw the question. How do you think all of what is happening in the tension between the Senate President and Senator Natasha can be duly resolved? Like I made you understand in some of my video that these people are families, they are friends. The husband of Senator Natasha and Akpabio are friends. So how do you think this can be resolved and peace can be restored between these two people, and the good reputation of Kogi Central District can continue? Drop your comments and watch the video of Senator Bamidele about what he said about Senator Akpabio here.
So on the issue of the streets, really, for me, one of the reasons why I did say I'm not going to be on the street, like if you notice, that protest wasn't a protest to a government. where I say that if I don't believe the current government won the election, and for me, if I go to protest to them, then that means I'm legitimizing illegitimacy, and that's my own opinion. And so I did say I'm not going to be on any of such protests. But on the issue of Senator Natasha Akpabio, it was a protest to the National Assembly, where she, not really a protest, she was going there to resume office, since the court had declared that her suspension was unconstitutional. And so the next thing would be for her to go in and resume, and then we escorted her. I was one of those who went with her, because one of the things for me is that she's not going to walk alone, by the grace of God, if I'm alive and I'm breathing,
right, and
definitely be there to support her, because what you see is just what we call injustice of the highest order. We first of all have a situation whereby we don't have a lot of women at the National Assembly, and then the few we have, we're seeing this high level kind of oppression going on. So for me, it's not even just because she's female, but that the injustice should not be sustained in her, like she said, in her own words.
I'm going to return to Natasha Akpabio in a minute. But I was just looking at the faces of some of those security guards when you guys walked up to them, and you're sort of looking them in the eye. They didn't quite know what to do. And one of your critics who was watching that jokingly wondered why you just couldn't have become something nice, like a kindergarten teacher rather than a political activist.
Well, at the end of the day, it's still teaching, because there are a lot of people who see the fact that one can stand up and have a voice and speak, and that as citizens that we're deserving of a good standard of living, we're deserving of good governance, and then we're also supposed to participate in governance, and that's exactly what we're doing. In terms of those police, for me, it was just so ironic, for every time we're trying to protest, for good governance in Nigeria, something that's going to favor everyone. The police are always there as willing tool of oppression, to suppress the people, oppress the people, beat up the people, tear gas, do all sorts of things. And the most ironic part of it was the fact that I think less than 24 hours to that time that we were there were actually citizens who were on the street protesting for police, men and women. And so I was like, what's this thing that is wrong with you? And most times when they see us, they are always complaining that we never protest, on their behalf. And I'm like, for every time we even try to protest on your behalf, you're always coming, to beat us up or do one thing.
That's a good point.
So that's it for me. And I kept just telling them, see, what are you getting out of this Nigeria? Like literally for some of them, look them in the eyes to say to them, the kind of education that your children are getting, is it the kind of education that the children of the Senate President, for example, is getting? If Nigeria was a country where it's working, access to good quality education should not be dependent on the economic status of one's family. So I'm reminding them, your kids are not getting this. So when you go back home and they're saying that Nigeria isn't working, just remember to let your family know that you're one of those who is not making Nigeria work. So basically, those were just the things that I would say to them that day.
But I mean, you must not have been surprised that you were stopped at the gates of the National Assembly by security agents. Knowing this, why was it still important for you to go there?
Well, it was important for her to resume office. One of the things that would happen most times, they would say to her, but you didn't try, you didn't go there. If she hadn't gone there, that they would say, who stopped you, who didn't allow you, to come in there. She needed to resume because her people have been without representation for over a year. And time and time again, the courts have declared that, the legislative and the bodies, be it National Assembly or State Houses of Assembly, they do not have this right to suspend people for this long or to do this suspension, being that the authority to be a senator wasn't something that was given to her by the Senate or imposed on her by the Senate. It was her people that deemed it fit to vote for her. And she was supposed to represent them. And now, with over 100 days, these people have lacked representation. And so there's everything wrong in that. This is not about the person. But this is about the people being represented.
Did you go out there to protest? I mean, in spite of the things you said, because she's a woman? Or would you have done that if it was a man who was stopped by the Senate from sort of going back into
absolutely.
office.
It doesn't have to do with gender, but it's just that it's an additional thing.
Right.
When you look at the scale, how do I put it now? The number of people who are women who are there, and then you find that you're being oppressed,
right.
and this is something that happens across board, all over. But definitely, when it comes to voices, for me, one thing is that I don't even need to like you to stand for you when your rights are being oppressed. I've always believed in that. There are certain issues that I, for example, might not agree with it. It might not be what I would do. It might not be what, either my faith or whatever agrees with it. But when that person's rights are trampled upon, I find it's beholden on me to actually speak up for that person, not just because of when we agree or when.
No, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do see it as a moral crisis for the Senate, and a crisis about the place of women in Nigerian society that challenges the national conscience, and as someone said, has sometimes exceeded every acceptable standard, both legal and moral.
So if you look at it this way, when we're talking about the main issue at ground, when we're talking about sexual harassment, this is something that women have to deal with on a regular basis all the time. And most times when victims speak out, they're oppressed, they're silenced, and perpetrators, go on the basis that they will be silenced from their victims. And then you now have someone at this level who is speaking out and who is also being silenced and sort of like being punished because she spoke out. It says a lot. It's a whole lot involved
you think
in
she's
it
being punished
beyond this.
Because she's not showing substantial contrition? Because, I mean, that's one of the things
it's one of those things, Charles. Repeatedly you see people who are saying to you, oh, go and beg. We do that a lot in Nigeria, where the victim is the one who is vilified.
That is very true.
The perpetrator is let alone. And
that
you
is
talk, what
true.
is it? Just go and apologize. No, you don't just go and apologize. You have to fight. And for me, constantly when I see Natasha, because she's always like saying to me, oh, thank you for being. I'm like, no, we are the ones to thank you, because this fight, you're not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for every woman out there who is being oppressed, who is being suppressed, who is going through this.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you see, is there any blame at all that you would lay on the doorstep of Senator Uduaghan at all in this whole crisis? Maybe, I don't know, I mean, her attitude, the fact that there were certain things within the Senate and the Senate rules. I mean, I'm not talking about the issue of sexual harassment or the issue of whatever else there is, just purely the way that she was in that National Assembly. I mean, she's not the first person who's been who they've attempted to discipline there.
So this is the thing. I look at this, when we talk about the Senate rules, why do the Senate rules keep changing for different people and then also for different gender? I would say in the way that Senator Natasha stood up for her right and said, look, I needed to speak out on this thing. I've been moved from my seat. I don't think I should be moved without properly being informed of this whole thing. We've had other senators, and I think if I'm not mistaken, the current Senate president himself has found himself in that same situation where he had stood up, where he had yelled, where he had done, all sorts of things. We've had senators who have thrown, tantrum on the floor of the Senate, but nothing really was done to them. But then when it comes to the woman, you want to put her in she shouldn't have done this. And what did she do? She only spoke up. She stood. She didn't hit anybody. She didn't fight anybody. She was just saying, and she was quoting, she was also calling the Senate rules as she was speaking that, look, I have a right to speak in this manner and at this place. So whatever technicalities they are bringing in, and what are the Senate rules that have to do with certain people, but certain people can get away with it. And so really, for me, that's something that it's questionable to an extent. And it says, where is the justice in here?
Yeah, I think a lot of people see it that way as well. But I mean, beyond those incidents, I mean, when it comes to the interpretation of that court ruling on the strength of which she returned to resume at the National Assembly, I mean, how do you see the role of the judiciary?
Charles, Charles, me, I always say it as it is. Man, our Nigerian judiciary, they should wake up. They failed the system, they failed the country, they failed even the the oath that they swore. We today, the Nigerian judiciary that is supposed to be the last resort of the common man is now the plaything of corrupt politicians, and they are so brazen in the way that they show that off. And they don't care. They don't follow the rules. The same Senate that we see today, there were some also injunctions that were given to them to stop that proceedings in terms of suspending her. They didn't listen. They didn't bother. And we've had a situation whereby a lot of even institutions decide what rulings of the judiciary, of the courts that they're going to obey. And that's a problem. And beyond that also, you also find where the judiciary is sort of like looking at the body language of those who come before them. We've seen a situation where, you know, politicians are the ones who are dictating a lot of things for our judiciary. It's a major problem. And I think the judiciary in itself should sit up and on its own begin to, you know, reorganize itself in a way that it's more effective for the people, and that the common man will have a place of solace and be there, not what we currently have right now, where the politicians, that's why they would look in your face and tell you to go to court, because they know they own the courts.
Chairman, for the very first time, I stand up to speak, not as the leader of the 10th Senate, but as Senator Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele, CON, representing the people of Ekiti Central Senatorial District. 4 quick issues to raise. Number one, I stand with due respect to say that what my big brother, distinguished Senator Abdul Ningi, who I respect so well, planned to do or set out to do was tantamount to a civilian coup, which has failed. And in doing this, he wanted to use the platform of Northern Senators Forum. God bless all those who have dissociated themselves as members of Northern Senators Forum. Number 2, I pay glowing tribute to His Excellency Senator Tambuwal, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, and to His Excellency Senator Ahmad Lawal. Why am I doing this? They had very peaceful tenure, and I was one of those instrumental. I'm also speaking as a Southerner for the first time. The attempt to take the election of the leadership of this Senate beyond June 13, 2023 must stop. 60-something senators voted for Godswill Akpabio. 40-something senators voted against Godwin Akpabio. The will of the majority. Every day, there have been a few, just a few. And that's one of the reasons I will pay tribute to Senator Tambuwal. He didn't pretend about where he stood. But after that, some of them got up on the floor of this Senate and said, election is over. Let's work together as senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A few have refused to do this. And that's why it's always about Akpabio, never about the Senate, never about the House of Reps, never about the Office of DG Budget. All of us passed this budget. Never about Mr. President who signed this budget. It's always about Akpabio. We have a momentum. This is a defining moment for all of us to say, if we are going to have a stable Senate, let us have one. It is not about North and South. It's about our rules. It's about the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's about our people who are hungry and deprived. Mr. President, sitting as chair, make no mistake about it. A few people who fear they will not give you more than 1 year to spend in this chair want to do everything possible before the 13th of June to remove you. And I am telling you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, distinguished colleagues, and that's why I say I'm speaking as Senator Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele, not as the Senate leader. As the Senate leader, I've always done everything possible to stabilize the Senate. I'm speaking, I'm exercising my own privilege as a senator. Now I am telling you, sir. I am telling you, sir. And I want Nigerians to know, I say it for history. The last time the people of South that you represent had a chance to be Senate president was over 40 years ago. The last time the entire people of the South had a chance to be Senate president was during Obasanjo regime, when he went to the Southeast. 5 people were elected because they were impeached in quick succession. But as soon as he left the South, we had peace and stability again because we will always cooperate. David Mark spent 8 years. Senator Ahmad Lawal spent 4 years, peaceful 4 years. Saraki, even with all he did, spent 4 years, he was not impeached. It is about Akpabio. It is about the South. You can now understand why Senator Ningi, we want to use the name of Northern Senators Forum, even when most of them did not agree to this. Mr. President, I plead with you. This is an opportunity for us to follow our rules. If tomorrow the wisdom of the elders of this Senate prevail and they feel we should do otherwise, let's lock ourselves up in a closed-door session and take another decision and go back to the world and reconsider ourselves on whatever decision we take today. I beg all of you, we must do the right thing today. We did not start this fight. Senator Ningi took this to the public domain, standing up to apologize here. Even after he repeated that some people got 100 billion naira from this budget, some people got 60 billion. Haba, what apology are you expecting? Let us do the right thing, and I am saying it as part of the leadership of this Senate. I am not bothered. I was going through online, just as this is going on, it's trending now, that every senator got 500 million. My appeal to Nigerians is not about what was said there today, because I'm not going to deny that. But we have 12 months to implement 2024 budget. Let every Nigerian wait to see whether there's any of these senators who will not bring enough boreholes, enough solar street lights, enough road construction, and other projects, training and empowerment, that will be up to 500 million naira. That is it. I am not protesting. If I got anything here, it is not money put in my pocket. They are constituency projects given to my constituency. And I'm not apologetic about it. Mr. President, please let us go into the prayers and do the right thing.